The vibes were high in March, okay? But this one, they're very different. I've made it as a book content creator right here. Was incredible. I give stars off of vibes. Let them misunderstand you. Let them hate you. That it gets all twisty and turny and like what? Just doesn't seem real. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you guys are new here. Today I'm talking about all the books that I read in the month of March. I cannot believe we're in April. Just doesn't seem real. So I ended up reading 10 books in the month of March. I'm very proud of myself because I feel like for a while there, I was just stuck on like the same 3 books, but we did it. We got 10 under our belt. So hopefully we can do more than that in April, but we will see. The first book that I read in the month of March is The Wife Upstairs by Freida McFadden. I feel like this book gets a lot of hate because it's compared to Verity by Colleen Hoover. I have read both and I can say they're very different. They're very different, okay? This one, while has some similarities to not just Verity, but other books. I mean, I feel like the whole wife hidden upstairs sort of thing, it's a thing, it's like a trope, you know? So I feel like a lot of books you could be like, oh, that person's ripping off this person. I don't think that's the case. I think this is its own unique story, separate from Verity. Both are good books, but both are very different plots. So let me just say that. This book is about Victoria, and she's had this horrible accident, so she needs a caretaker. So enter Sylvia is the caretaker. Victoria's husband, I can't remember his name. Adam, maybe? Yes. Adam is Victoria's husband, and he hires Sylvia to take care of Victoria because she's had this accident and she can't take care of herself. Sylvia ends up moving into this mansion that's like out in the middle of nowhere. Lots of creepy vibes. In classic Freida form, you don't know who the bad guy is in this book. You know, that it gets all twisty and turny and like what? This one was wild. This one was wild. Definitely different from Verity. Still good in its own right. I gave this book 4 stars. The reason I give it 4 stars is because for some reason I'm feeling like very pressured, I guess, in the reading community to adjust my rating system because I've noticed a lot of people don't give 5 stars. I give stars off of vibes, and if I had fun reading it, I usually give it a 5 star, but I gave this one 4 star because I'm trying to be a little bit more like not so freely with my 5 stars, and if it wasn't just like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna stop thinking about this book, give it 4 stars. This was good. I probably won't really think too much about it unless I'm talking about it. It's not like keeping me up at night thinking about it, and I guess that's how I should rate a 5 star. I don't know. Tell me your rating system below, because honestly, I'm like, if I had a good time with a book and I really enjoyed it to the point where I would reread it, I give it 5 stars. I would reread this one, but I gave it 4 stars because I feel that pressure. Does anybody else feel that pressure? Like everybody's like, oh, I'm gonna read until I find a 5 star. I would read one book and be like, okay, the video's done. Is it just me? Please tell me it's not just me, because I feel like I'm the only one that's just like 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. So I've adjusted my rating system. We will see how that goes. The next book that I read in the month of March is The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. I listened to this on Audible. It was so good. I did give this one 5 stars. I think everybody could benefit from listening to this book or reading this book. It was really good, and there's just so many moments in life where you're like trying to fix things, or you're trying to do things, or you're trying to get somebody to do this or do that, and you just have to let them, you know? Let them do what they're gonna do, but it goes so much deeper than that. You know, it's like, let them misunderstand you, let them hate you, let them do all of these things, and then she says, let you, and you do the things that are within your control. And it wasn't anything necessarily groundbreaking, but it was just so good to point out, like, how many times do you do this where you're like trying to do this and instead you should just let them, you know, it's hard to watch somebody do something and you're like, oh, you know, like there are a lot of times where I have family members that I'm like, you're making this harder than it needs to be, but you have to just let them. So this is really good. I give it 5 stars. I would highly recommend checking it out. If you are into like self-help nonfiction type of books, this one was a good one. The next one I also listened to on the Libby app through my library, and that was Finding Me by Viola Davis. Again, I gave this one 5 stars. This was incredible. I have only ever seen Viola Davis in the movie The Help, I believe. I don't think I've watched her show. I don't remember the name of her show. Was it How to Get Away with Murder? I truly don't remember. But This one was incredible. Incredible. Just to hear her story of like what she grew up in and what she had to overcome to get to where she is today. Amazing. Amazing. I highly recommend it. It will just change the way you think about things. You know, we look at actors and think that, oh, you've got it all together, you've got everything, make your millions or whatever, and you don't actually think about who they were before they became that person and all the hard work and the obstacles they had to overcome. This book was 5 stars. 5 stars. And she actually does the audiobook herself, so it was just so cool to hear her talk about her personal experiences instead of having someone else read it. The next book that I picked up in the month of March, and I actually did a whole reading vlog on this, so I will link it wherever in the cards for you guys, is A Court of Thorns and Roses. This is the first time I've ever picked up this book, and you guys, I enjoyed it so much. I actually listened to it while following along in the book, so that way you get the full experience, because I felt very intimidated by this book. I'm not a huge fantasy reader. I feel like with fantasy, it takes a lot for my brain to think because there's so many different worlds and creatures and characters and weird names and whatever. And I'm like, I want to know how to say everything. I want to know what's going on. So I did get the audiobook through my library and then listen to it while reading it. You guys, I loved it so much I ordered the whole series. I know that I think there's another one on the way, but they haven't like announced when it's coming out. But all the books that are out so far within the ACOTAR series, I picked them all up. Again, I gave this one 4 stars because I guess I just felt like I needed to like constantly think about it afterwards. But honestly, I feel like most of the books I read this month were 5 stars, if I'm gonna be honest. But we're gonna say 4 stars because I feel like I have to be harder on my ratings. But vibes, you guys, I go off of vibes with like everything in life. If it's vibing, it's vibing. If it's not, it's not. You know, but I really did enjoy this one. I gave it 4 stars, like I said. I am planning on reading the next one in the month of April, but I'm hoping to do the same thing where I listen to the audiobook as I follow along, because I just felt like it really helped me just understand what was happening in the story. But this one was really good. I haven't really been talking about what everything's about, I guess. But anyway, this one's about Feyre, and she is this human, and she ends up being taken to this magical land. I don't remember the name of it. And she stays with Tamlin and Lucien, and they're fairies. They're actually high fae. And basically, it's kind of like very similar to Beauty and the Beast, where there's like a curse and all the stuff. So much drama. There's also a love triangle in there. Like I said, if you want my full thoughts on this, definitely check out this book. I thought it was hilarious to watch back and watch my reactions to stuff and like how passionate I got about stuff. Pretty funny, but this one was really good. Next up is my very first ARC. And if you don't know what an ARC is, it's an advanced reader's copy. It is a book that isn't out yet. So my very first ARC was The Tenant by Freida McFadden. You guys, I was so excited when I got the email that I got this. Like, I was just like, this is it. This is it. I've made it. I've made it as a book content creator right here. This book actually doesn't come out until May 6th, but I highly recommend. It was such a good time. I actually figured out the twist. The first time ever reading a Freida book, I figured out the big like main twist. Obviously, in true Freida fashion, there was multiple twists, but I figured out like the main twist, which I felt like I was very proud of myself for. I figured it out somehow. Again, I give this one 4 stars. Guys, I really should just go back to how I was rating it before and just base it off of vibes. I don't know. Again, let me know your rating system. How do you rate things? Because seriously, some of these people are like, I really enjoyed the book, but I gave it 3 stars. And I'm like, what? So I don't know. I guess I'm just rating everything way too high. I'm just having too much fun with life, apparently. I don't know, but the vibes were definitely vibing because I think everything was pretty much a 4-star. Well, there was one that I wasn't vibing with as much, but all that to say, the vibes were high in March, okay? Anyway, so this book I also have in a reading vlog, which I will link somewhere. Actually, I think from here on out, the rest of the video, or the rest of the books -1 are a part of that reading vlog. So definitely check that out if you want my full thoughts. But basically, The Tenant is like this couple has to get this tenant to live with them so that way they can afford rent is the basic storyline. It's very twisty, very turny, you know, page turner. I don't want to give too much away from this book because it's not out yet and I did receive an advanced copy, so I obviously don't want to ruin that for anybody because it's not out yet, but I did give it 4 stars. I loved it. I loved it. And I loved that I got an advanced copy. I'm still in shock. I'm still in shock that Frida's next book I've already read and it's not out yet. And she doesn't have anything else announced after that. So I'm like, what's happening? You know? Anyway. But I absolutely loved it. The next book was my only 5-star that was a fiction book, I think. And when I was reading it, I was not having fun with it. And I was going to give it like a 3.5, if I'm being honest. But then I got probably 60% of the way through and I was like, wait, what? We've just set all this up and like I didn't even notice it happening. Like I said, this one's in a reading vlog if you want my full thoughts. But this book was so beautiful. This is Wildside by Elsie Silver. This follows Tabitha and Reese. And basically, again, you can follow the reading vlog. I kind of explain more of what happens in this book over there. But this is basically a fake marriage trope with enemies to lovers. It focuses a lot on grief and different obstacles that come in their way throughout this process. It was wrapped up so beautifully at the end that that's why I was like, this is 5 stars and I cannot stop thinking about it now. Which is so funny because, you know, halfway through the book I was like, I'm not really vibing with this, you know, but then I don't know what Elsie Silver did there, but I was just like, whoa, this is a 5-star. This is a 5-star. I cannot stop thinking about this book. It was so beautiful. I'm not really one to be like, let me read a book that's gonna deal with grief. It's not really my cup of tea. I don't like to be sad. This was just so beautiful. So beautiful. Like I said, I loved it. I gave this 5 stars. I was like, I have to give this 5 stars because of how I'm feeling right now. It just touched me so much. Anyway, definitely go check it out. I would recommend the whole Rose Hill series, but this one I think was my favorite. I would have said Wild Love, the first one in the series, was my favorite. Wild Eyes was okay. I think it's kind of overhyped a little bit, but this one, so good. All right, I'm gonna stop talking about it now. You guys get it. You get it. Next up is First Time Caller. I read this because it was part of Delaney Smith's Patreon book club for March. I had to think about what month we're in. I was like, for March. And I gave this one 3.5. Honestly, I really would have DNF'd it except for the fact that it was part of the book club. It wasn't like a horrible book. It's just like a fun, flirty rom-com. But I was bored for most of the book, if I'm being honest. The 2 characters, I just didn't even care if they ended up together because I didn't feel the chemistry there. It just felt awkward, you know? And their spice scenes, I actually like fast forward through part of that because it was so awkward. Like the 2 characters I felt like were very awkward and it was uncomfortable to read them having like spicy moments because of the characters. I don't know, and I know not everybody feels that way. I just personally just did not, I don't know. There were some good points of this book, like her daughter's, almost said husband, no, her daughter's dad was the funniest character in the whole book. I loved him. I was like, I want a best friend like him. So funny. Just didn't love this one as much, but this is about Aiden and Lucy. Lucy's daughter calls into Aiden's radio show to help her find love. The clip of that goes viral. Well, because Lucy comes in and she's like, who are you talking to this late at night? So she gets on the phone and then realizes she's on this radio show, kind of talks about her experience with love and what she's looking for in life. It becomes a viral clip and they have Lucy come on the show with Aiden to find her love and kind of do a show about like finding her love so guys can call in and ask her on dates and whatever. And that's kind of the idea of this story. It is a cute idea. I feel like part of the problem was the book was too long. Like it could have been 100 pages less and probably been a lot better, but I felt like it just kind of drug on a little bit. But then also I just felt like the connections just weren't there. I did like how at the end though Lucy kind of came into her own, but yeah, there was just a lot. There was a lot of things that I was just like about this book. I might reread it. Maybe I'm being too harsh on it. I'll have to think about it, but I definitely gave it a 3.5 because I was not vibing as much with that. The next book I read was The Rise of the Darkest Flame. This was again for a book club. This was a book club that was in person here local to me, and the author of this book is actually a local author. So she came to our book club and we got to ask her questions about the book and the writing process and what's to come with this series. It was actually really a lot of fun. I loved that. I actually really enjoyed the book as well, and I did document this in my reading vlog, but this was really good. Like, I really enjoyed it. It was friends to lovers to, I wouldn't really say enemies, but enemies to lovers, fake marriage trope, definitely all the things. It was very fantasy, but I really loved the two main characters. I liked their storyline, the stuff that they've had to go through, just having like that soulmate kind of thing. I really enjoyed that. I don't really know what the back of the book says because I read it on my Kindle, but it was really good. I highly recommend checking it out and reading it if you like fantasy, romantasy, that type of stuff. This is a good book. It does have a second one, which I am planning to read in the month of April. I wanted to start it immediately after finishing the first book, but I just have a lot of books going on and that I needed to finish, and that, you know, whatever, but I will be reading it for the month of April. I did give this one 4 stars. Again, I just felt pressured to not give everything 5 stars, but I probably would have given this one a 5-star because I was totally vibing with it. I wasn't sure I was going to be, but then once I got through the first chapter, I was like, it's a vibe. It's a vibe. I like these characters. I ship it so hard. So yeah, so there's that. Next up, I listened to The Fall Risk by Abby Jimenez. It's just a short story. It was super cute. I gave it 4 stars. Again, I just felt like I couldn't give everything 5 stars. It was a short story. It was just good. It was good. I enjoyed it. And then the last book that I read in the month of March, I actually listened to, but it was the Britney Spears, The Woman in Me book. And when I tell you, you know, obviously things are from her perspective, her point of view. She could be exaggerating stuff, but even if half or even a quarter of what she said there's any truth to, wow, her family really failed her. And I just, listening to this book, I wanted to just like go find her and hug her because I was just like, this is awful. This is awful. And just like hearing how it was to just grow up in the spotlight but not have your people protect you, heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking to listen to it. It was really good. I did give it 5 stars, but it was heartbreaking to listen to. And I absolutely hope that Britney Spears can find some happiness in this life and can surround herself with people who aren't garbage, because after hearing stuff in this book, even if only a little bit of it is true, I'm just like, why? Why is any of it true? That's what I want to know. So yeah, that is everything that I read in the month of March. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and tell me in the comments, like, what did you read in the month of March? So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.